Hey guys, while I am on the carpet with a small group working on some things that they need to cover, you're going to be covering strategies that we're going to use in subtraction. Okay, we talked a little bit yesterday about using open number lines and decomposing to subtract. I want to talk more about decomposing to subtract today. Okay, first things first is I'm going to pose you the problem that we're going to be talking about while we're decomposing to subtract. Read it along with me. Michaela has $346 saved up. She wants to buy a new phone for $218. How much money will she have left when she buys the phone? Okay, at this point in our lesson, I want you to take your worksheet that you should have in front of you and I want you to fill out the problem solving steps. Remember, your problem solving steps are: what do I know? What do I need to know? What is my operation? That's addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. What are we doing? And the equation. So pause the video here and take just a moment to fill out your sheet. When you're done, you can press play. Okay, you should have taken just a moment to have paused the video and walked through the problem solving steps on your worksheet for this problem. Okay, we're talking about Michaela and her money. She's got some money saved up. She wants to buy something and she wants to know how much she has left if she buys it. Okay, so let's take a look at what you should have filled out. For what you need to know, or what you do know that she has $346 and she wants to spend $218 of it. Okay, what you need to know is how much money she will have left if she makes this purchase. Okay, our operation is subtraction because we're taking an amount of money that we already have, we're taking some away to find out how much we have left. And the last step when you problem solve before you begin to solve is to actually create the equation. And the equation for this sentence is 346 minus 218. Okay? Hope everybody is with me so far. So we have said for Michaela's problem that our equation is 346 minus 218. So how are we going to go about solving this? Well, the strategy that I'm wanting to show you today is the decomposing to subtract strategy. And how you're going to start this strategy is by looking at the number that you're taking away. That's this number right here, 218, and you're going to put it in expanded form, where you're going to decompose it. Okay, so 218 decomposes into 200 plus 10 plus 8. Okay, this is step one, making sure that you decompose the number that you're taking away. Our next step, remember we talked about this yesterday, is to actually begin to subtract. Now, you can choose to start with your ones to subtract, or you can choose your tens or your hundreds. I don't care where you choose to start subtracting first. That's completely up to you. For today, we're going to start with our hundreds. So I'm going to take our number, which is how much money Michaela is starting with. It's how much she has saved up, 346. And I'm going to take away the hundreds, which I have two of them, so 346 minus 200, and that will give me 146. Okay, so I've dealt with my hundreds. Notice when I subtract something, I get rid of it. That way I don't forget later on that I've already subtracted it and try to subtract it again. So I've dealt with that. Next, I'm going to do my tens because those should be pretty easy. So I'm going to take the number that I have now, 146, and I'm going to subtract my tens. I only have one 10 to take away, so that my 10 below that is going to be 136. So I've scratched out my 10, I've scratched out my 200, I've used those, and now I'm left with this 8. Okay? So 136 minus the 8 in the ones place. Woo! Goodness. Sorry, guys. Technology can be funny sometimes. Okay, 136 minus 8. I know I can start at 136 and I can count backwards 8. So 136 to 135, 134, 133, 132, 131, 130, 129, 128. So there's the 8 that I've subtracted, and that got me to 128. So I've dealt with my hundreds, I've dealt with my tens, and I've dealt with my ones to subtract, and I'm left with 128. So the solution to Michaela's problem is if she buys the phone for $218, she will have $128 left. Okay, let's stop and think about what we did here to solve this problem. After we ran through our problem solving steps and got ready to solve, we looked at our problem, we took the number that we were getting ready to take away, and we decomposed it to we expanded it, we decomposed it into its hundreds, tens, and ones. And then I began to subtract those hundreds, tens, and ones from the amount that I had to start with, which was 346. And that eventually got us down to our regular number, to our final answer of she will have $128 left if she buys the phone. Okay? Now, to check our work, all we would have to do is say, well, 128, which is how much we have left, plus the 218, which the phone costs. I know 200 and 100 give me 300. Okay, 2 tens and 1 10 give me 3 tens. And 8 ones and 8 ones give me 16. Now I'm going to have to shift that 10 over, so that's going to be 300. If I shift this 10 over, 46. Is that the number that I started with? Sure is. So I know that this strategy worked to give me my correct solution. Okay? Okay, guys. You have watched me walk through the decomposing to subtract strategy once, and now I'm wanting you to work through it with me on your worksheet. Okay? Since you're going to be working through this problem with me, I want you to take a quick look at your worksheet. You've got a couple of steps here that I'm going to ask you to pause the video and work through the worksheet at different points. So pay attention and listen carefully. Okay? Our first step, since we're decomposing to subtract, is to actually decompose the number that we're subtracting. Now the number that we are subtracting is 247. So please pause your video and on step 1, decompose the number 247. Make it into expanded form. Give me the hundreds, the tens, and the ones. Okay, great. You should have just decomposed for the first step 247. Okay, our next step is to actually begin subtracting. Okay, so where you see on your worksheet where it says the first sorry, it's not going to say number 1. Sorry, it's going to say step 2. I want you to show me where you're going to say 625 minus something equals something. Okay, that's where you should see that. This is where you're going to get to choose what you subtract first. Okay, you should have already decomposed 247 into 200 plus 40 plus 7. Okay, that was step 1. Okay, step 2, we're actually going to start subtracting. This time I want us to start with our 1s. So in your first blank, you're going to have 625 minus 7 equals something. Solve that quickly. Okay, if you subtracted 7 from 625, you should have gotten 618 as your answer. If you have subtracted the 7 and you got 618 as your answer, make sure to cross out your 7 on step 1. That way we know we've used it. Okay? On step 3, you should now have blank minus blank equals blank. Woo! Okay, we need to take our 618 and write that in the first blank. And then we need to subtract our 10s. So 618 minus 40 equals blank. Solve that quickly. Okay, you should have paused the video and subtracted 40 from 618 to get 578. So now we have dealt with our 10s. We're going to cross those out up on step 1. Then on step 4, you should see blank minus blank equals blank. This is our last step. We have 578. Fill in that blank. Minus 200, that's all I have left, equals blank. Pause the video and solve this last equation on step 4. Okay, you should have taken a moment to subtract the 200 from the 578 to get your answer of 378. Now, this part is done, but we still have a step 5. On step 5, you're going to see where it says blank plus 247 equals, oh, there goes that silly technology again, equals 625. The number that goes in the blank is the number that we just, our answer, what we just got. We are checking our work. So what I want you to do is to check to make sure if this is true. Okay, is 378 plus 247 really 625? Okay, let's work through the first step together. 3 hundreds and 200s is 500. 7 tens and 4 tens is 110. And 8 ones and 7 is 15. Now we have to do some shifting around. We know 500 and this 100, that's going to be 600. This 10 and that 10 is going to be 20, and then I only have these ones to deal with, so that's 5. So 625 was our answer, correct? Looks like it was. 378 is what is left when we take 247 from 625. Okay? Wonderful job. If you are not sure about everything that we've done here, you can go back to the beginning of the video and listen to our problem about Michaela and how we decompose it to subtract. Okay, you can always watch the video again. Your next step is to apply this strategy on the problem 582 minus 346. This this equation is on your worksheet, and I want you to decompose and then subtract to get your answer. Okay? Once you have solved this problem on your own, I just want you to simply make sure that your name is on the top of your worksheet, turn it into the box, and then you may read quietly until we meet again as a group for math. Okay, guys? Do your absolute best. If you don't remember how to do something, go back to an earlier point in this video and watch it again. Okay?